Hey party people, this is Jeremy from Jambalaya Plays Games, and today I'm here on Board Game Revolution talking about Skulk Hollow, which is published by Pencil First Games, most known for Herbaceous Sprouts, Legendary Creatures, Sunset Over Water, Heroes Welcome, and now Skulk Hollow. This game is designed by Keith Matejka. You may know him from a very small game called Role Player. All right, I think you know who these people are. Some of them, they've worked together on a couple solo modes and things like that for games. But here we are, Skulk Hollow, which I'm going to say right now is probably the best game I've seen from Pencil First Games. It's one of my favorite designs. I think the best design by Keith Matejka. But I'm already blowing up the preview here. Okay, so what we have is a two-player game where players are taking on the roles of the Foxen folk or Foxen heroes or the Guardians, okay? And this is the Guardian right here. We're facing against Tanthos, and this is Tanthos right here. Don't let that meeple fool you. He is gigantic, and here you are. That's just one of the four choices here, and they're huge, okay? They are huge. You can check. You can see the beautiful artwork, and you can see these awesome meeples. But I got to show all the artwork. These things are absolutely ridiculous, as you can see. Really nice, thick meeples. I'm sure if you've been following me on social media, I've been shooting pictures like crazy. If you didn't notice, this is my favorite one, by the way. I think it's really cool. But yeah, you are taking on the roles, and I'm going to show like kind of a two-parter video where you see both sides. So let's just go ahead and get to it. Now, as you can see, this is a 3x3 area. It's kind of orientated this way because that's how the cards will be. So like slant right, slant left, advance, surrounding would mean everywhere around here. Kind of think of this as these are the good side area, and this is the bad side area, and these are kind of neutral going across, just so you have an idea. I've already deployed some of the things that are out here just because I want you to know just kind of how some things work. I'll shoot some cards out there and show you how some things work and not necessarily worry about all the turns and stuff like that. Okay, so what are we trying to do? We are trying to take out this beast, and we're trying not to die because that's one of their win conditions. But we're trying to take out this beast by filling them up with hearts, attacking their little areas, leaping to different parts. As you can see, there's like little routes there. We're trying to take out little spots because we can take out their little moves if we do. We only have certain spots for little guys. We got to kind of sacrifice and throw as much as we can at this big guardian. All right. So what do we do here? We got our roster. We have our roster of, we have leaders. So we have leaders with special powers and non-special powers. So we have one right here. This is the King of War. He has no special power. We have the Queen of Blessing, which can heal one of your troops. You have one that's the Queen of Tactics that can activate if she shares a space with someone else. You have the Prince of Guile, who can grab a card out of the discard pile. Specific card out of a discard pile. And these are all different tactical choices. I'm just going to leave those there. I've chosen the King. And then you have your different type of units, but I'll kind of go through that as we play here. So you have a five card hand, and you do 3 actions on your turn. Now the cool part about this game is that, and this is just a design thing that I love. I love games that give me great player aids. Like, Jeremy, you can't mess this up. What you can do is right there. What they can do is right there. By the way, thank you so much for making a player aid to give to someone else and say, hey, this is their winning condition. This is their moves. This is what you need to do. Okay? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So what can you do? You have 3 action choices. You can play cards from your hand. You can prepare a card. You can prepare by putting a card in your discard pile and grabbing 2 more. That's important because maybe you just want to get to a certain card, or you can spend power, and spending power is a free action, and it activates that character for free, any action. All right, so let's just play some cards. Movement is pretty simple, okay? Movement means you can literally move in that direction, okay? So that means, let's say for this direction, I can move him back this way, okay? That would be movement. All right. Gaining power, that means I would just gain 2 power, and the 2 power actually stays in this little pool area because I can generate as much as I want. And then at the end of my turn, I would move those over to the specific characters to activate them for the next turn. They can use them on the next turn. Okay, that's why it's important. I could mess that up. And then we have the attacks, which is really important. Okay, so as you can see, there's a top and a bottom to these cards, all of them. Okay, but you can only choose one or the other. So attack really just means what it is. I'm going to go ahead and do this melee attack with the knight. And as you can tell, I can do that with the knight because it says that. Notice the archer does not have that attack, or it can't leap. And leap means get on the character. But we're just going to go ahead and have this knight do melee. But you know what? I need to get him up there first. Ooh, boy. Let's go ahead and get him up there. I'm going to leap. And that's what leap means. You have to initially leap onto the beast, to the guardian. But you also have to leap to the next location. So I'm going to go ahead and leap up to here. And then I'm going to attack with the melee. And when I attack with the melee, that means I'm going to hit a certain spot. There's only one slot for me there. And since I hit that slot, it can no longer do crush. And I'm also stuck there. I am in a place where I could be hurt. I could be killed. I only have 2 health, but I've taken that out. So he can't do the crush move. Yes. All right. So that's kind of what you're doing there. Okay. Let's see here. So if I had, let's say I did this instead. I'm going to use this missile. Okay, missile is important too, because when I shoot missile, I activate, let's say I want to activate my archer. My archer says if I use missile, then I can wound him from to any location from a surrounding ground space. Okay, boom. I'm right next to him, so I can shoot from him, and I can shoot anywhere on here. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shoot up here. Okay, so now the beast can no longer pull me. Okay, what they want to do is pull you to their tentacles. So thankfully, I got rid of that too, because they don't have anything else. So now I'm really in a good situation. Now I can get up in there and maybe bring over my sentinel and my leader together. Cool little rule: if they're together, if a sentinel or any character is with the leader, they become kind of a meat shield, but they can't. The guardian can't hurt the leader, which is a very interesting mechanic. And that's pretty much the round for them. The round ends, you either draw up to your hand size, or if you're already at 5 cards, you draw an extra one. I guess the only thing I forgot to say is if you deploy someone, they actually go out here and they have a nice little wonderful color little code situation, which is kind of neat. You see the circle, you can deploy them anywhere on your side as long as there's a free space. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm kind of rambling through these rules here, but that's just because I'm so excited. All right, I'm so excited about this game. Well, let me just show you from the other side. Maybe that'll provide some clarity so you'll know what it's like to play a Guardian. All right, party people, now we are back looking at these beasts here, our creatures, our colossi, whatever you want to refer to them as, because they're huge, they're hulking, they're going to take up a ton of space. And as you can tell, these are beautiful, beautiful meeples here. These are some, I mean, I'm going to call them minis because I just kind of thought of them as minis there. I hesitated there. So let's start with the big stretch goal one here, a Poda. Now this one's going to like burrow in the ground. It's got all kinds of stuff. I don't want to really talk about it too much because I haven't played it. I decided not to tempt myself. They kind of told us to keep it light. 50K stretch goal. Here we go. This is our entry-level beast, and all of these have different difficulties. The one I hear has a level 3 difficulty. This is the level 1. Doesn't mean it's easy. It definitely teaches you how to control the board with its big sweeping movements, bashing, throwing, things like that. This one right here, though, Rapture is pretty crazy. So Rapture can fly, and once it launches in the air and it flies, it has all these different abilities to slap people around. It shrieks and damages people. It's got all kinds of stuff. Really hard to get to. Once it's in the air, it can move 2 spaces. But while we're at it, we can just take a look at these big old wonderful meeples. They're nice and thick, really high quality stuff. I mean, man, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? For real, like, are you kidding me? This is absolutely insane. All right, so what I'm going to do is just show you the asymmetry of Tanthros. Tanthos, who is one of the 4 beasts, and this is the one I'm going to choose. He has 2 goals. His goal is to either take out the leader right here, and that's pretty much every creature's goal, no matter what, but then they also have their own set goal. That's another winning condition. So I want to get all 6 of my roots, and those roots are like my way of pulling things in and smashing people and things like that. What I don't want to happen is to get all these spaces here full on my player board. As you can see, if any one of those spaces is filled, then I cannot do that move. So right now I can't do crush, and I'm going to be a little worried about pull, and I'm going to be sort of worried about tunnel, but I also have this over here too to deal with tunnel. I can't let them get there either. So we want to keep that board from getting lit up and keep those guys off there. All right. Now what do the cards look like? They're asymmetrical decks, but they have some similarities like healing. They have, let's see, some of the other things like movement, of course, from their perspective, that kind of thing. Those are still the same. They also have a wild card where you can do any one of their actions. And they also have what's called the prepare action, just like the other characters. The prepare action means you can discard 1 card and draw 2, so you can get through the deck that you want. The hand sizes and power tokens, those are all also asymmetrical because some of these characters will not have a space for power tokens. Some of the characters will have different hand size and a different amount of actions they can take. So everything's a little bit different. The player aid does a great job of explaining what's on here, and it also has its own unique setup. Specifically for this one here, this piece, you're going to have, you have to know that these little tentacles can be taken out with one hit. That's kind of what you need to know, because that's important to your opponent, which you can give them a card that shows what your moves are. So let's just show some of the cool moves that I have as the Tantos here over here. Okay, so what do I really want to do? I want to pull people away and that can pick away at me, like this Archer right here. I'm going to kill this Archer by using one of my pull cards. And I'm going to take more than 2 actions, although I can only take 2. I'm going to pull him to my tentacle, and that's what pull does. It pulls a character to my tentacle. And once I do that, I can do this move called Crush. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my special card here to do what's called Crush. And what Crush means, I can inflict 1 wound to anyone who is in the area of my tentacle, which I'm going to just crush him, okay? You don't do that in the game. That's just me being overreactive here. And I'm going to crush that Archer, okay? He only has 1 hit point, so he is gone. And the reason why you do that is because the Archer can hit anywhere on my body. I don't want them anywhere near me, okay? I don't want them anywhere near me. I also have Shock, and Shock is a body defense move. It basically shocks anybody that's in the same space as me or anywhere on my body for damage. So I think I want to take out this rogue here because it's going to hurt me if it stays on there. And I'm just going to crush it. I'm just going to go ahead and shock it. He's gone. Okay. And that's what the rogue does. And rogue is gone because he only has 1 hit point too. Get out of here. Okay. Now let's say I had to mend one of my pieces because I want to be able to crush. Okay, and I couldn't crush, by the way. I just illegally crushed. I would have to play the mend ability to do that. All right, I just illegally crushed. Look at me. Hashtag rule breaker, heartbreaker. All right, move over here. That's just, like I said, orientated by how you move. Everything else here is pretty, self-explanatory, but those are the moves. And basically what you're trying to do as a strategy for him is pull things away, get her by herself, and get your leader by itself, and then maybe pull it over and then start crushing it. That's one of the ways to do it. And then when you have open spaces, now you can start placing these out here, and that is how they win, okay? As Tantos, and especially since it has a free action, you want to kind of make sure you chain those combos together. That is just one strategy for all 4 of these, one of the 4 strategies possible. So look forward to playing more of this game, but that is the preview for Skulk Hollow. I'm going to go ahead and share my final thoughts. This is getting a little long, so let me get to it. All right, party people, final thoughts on Skulk Hollow by Pencil First Games. I'm going to come out right out and say it. This is by far my favorite design by Keith Matega. I feel like this is his best design. Probably because I got taken by it by surprise, but at the same time, like, I had the most fun I've ever had playing one of his games. And the only other game I've really played of his is Role Player, I'll be honest with you, but I just feel like this is superior, and it, as it is already in prototype form, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. If you could tell by my gloating, my social media and all that stuff, I've just had a really fun time with this. The theme is really cool. Of course, you get the Shadow Colossus. If you know Papaton, that's kind of one of the things I kind of related it to. But the Foxen people who you think are just not maybe as interesting, they present so many different cool ways to take down these Guardians, and that's actually a really fun part of the game where you can decide these different strategies with these different cards, with these different leaders. And Guardians really have to pay attention to that. The Guardian people players have to pay attention to that. Otherwise, they could be just kind of thinking, oh, I'll just bowl them over. I got this little, I got this queen here, a blessing. Yeah, she's puny, but she's healing these people. She's healing her knights. She's making it easier for everybody to get around and not feel insecure or, unsafe. And that helps quite a bit. On the Guardian side, the Guardian has to pay attention to where people can go. And maybe you can or can't see this, but you have certain monsters, certain Guardians that have spaces for 1 person. Well, that's actually a good thing, because if you only have 1 person that can fit here and then 2 people that can fit there, you know how they'll come onto your board. And there's just certain spots that they can only go 1 person at a time. So unless you have double leap and things like that, you know, you can kind of figure out how to separate them when they're on your body. And then when they're on the surface, there's different rules at play. Raptra can move around. When he's in the sky, he can move 2 spots. There's all these little things that you need to pay attention to position-wise and just everywhere. Card play, positioning, leader choice. It's all there. And it's more than I thought it was going to be. And that's just because the game is so well designed, is basically what I was saying. It's got easy rules to learn, and it has a player to walk you through those easy rules that become more complicated based on the character. And that's why I just had such a really positive overall experience with this. And I don't want to ramble on forever, but you can tell that there's a lot here. I'm part serious and part overwhelmed and excited. So it takes a lot for me to be this contained. So I have nothing but good words to say about this game. I can't ever tell anybody what to do with their money, but I think for a 2-player game, this is one of the best experiences I've had with a 2-player game this year by far. And that's stiff competition. A lot of good 2-player games this year. And this is just a prototype. So with that, I'll leave it right there. You can find Skulk Hollow on Kickstarter right now. It is funded, but I just wanted to add my opinion, and I want to thank Pencil First Games for allowing me to do that. If you at any point have any questions about this game, you can leave them in the comments below. Feel free to like and subscribe. My name is Jeremy. I'm also known as Jambalaya Plays Games. You are watching this on Board Game Revolution. You can follow me over on Jambalaya Plays Games, JambalayaPlaysGames.com, or join me on BGR live on Fridays. And I'll just leave it right there. Thank you for your time so much. Thank you for your time, party people. Love doing these things. Have a wonderful day. Skulk Hollow.